Hello and welcome to the channel Elias Treasure of Knowledge. To get more videos on library and information science, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell icon. In this video, we will see the important section of the NTA NET exam, that is library legislation. So let's start with what is library legislation. Library legislation means an act elected and implemented by a state or a national government for running and maintaining a public library system within its territorial jurisdiction. It is important for the development of public libraries in a planned manner. So the library legislation is responsible for designing and acquiring a promising public library system in a country or in any of its states. And now we will see why library legislation is needed. One can appreciate the value of library legislation in a state or country for the establishment of a public library system. So we will see what are the factors for which we need library legislation in the state of a particular country. So the first is for establishment of libraries. It is the duty and responsibility of the state or central government that they should establish public libraries to provide public library services to the people of that state or country for which legislation is passed out. Because every person wants to know the current information which is happening in the world. So for this, government should establish libraries in every area of jurisdiction of the legislation for providing library services. And the next is for maintenance of the libraries. The old and new libraries which are already set up need continuous maintenance for a better manner. And the government should care about all these libraries. These things only can be done on time through the provision of the legislation. And the third one is for setting of network of libraries. The library legislation system creates an adequate network of libraries in which libraries of various categories are associated with each other. So it is only possible by library legislation to run a network of libraries in a planned and coordinated manner. And the next and last one is coordination and balanced growth. Earlier, in the absence of library legislation, every library was bound to work separately. But because of library legislation, it is essential for ensuring coordination and cooperation among the libraries, which are vital for the utilization of resources available in the library and also for the growth of the library. And now we will see what are the benefits of library legislation. It provides proper governance and management. Library legislation is a democratic process and has an adequate norm for public services in a free community. And next we'll see features of library legislation. So the first feature is easy language. The language of legislation should be simple and easy to understand. And the second one is simple structure. It should be simple. If in future any change is required, can change easily. And the third one is duties and responsibilities. The duties and responsibility of the library authority should clearly be mentioned in the legislation. And the fourth feature is free library service. Free library services should be provided to all the people of the country or state for which library legislation law is passed. And the fifth one is helpful in development. All points should be clearly mentioned in the Act so that every citizen can understand the meaning easily. It will help in the development of the library. Now we will see the name of the state who passed Public Library Act in India under Library Legislation Act. So there are 19 states in India who passed the Act. So let's see the names and the year. First is Madras, Tamil Nadu Public Library Act in the year 1948. Andhra Pradesh Public Library Act in the year 1960. Karnataka Mysore Public Library Act in the year 1965. Maharashtra Public Library Act in the year 1967. West Bengal Public Library Act in the year 1979. Manipur Public Library Act in the year 1988. Haryana Public Library Act in the year 1989, Kerala Public Library Act in the year 1989, Goa Public Library Act in the year 1993, Mizoram Public Library Act in the year 1993-1994, Gujarat Public Library Act in the year 2001, Orissa Public Library Act in the year 2001, Uttarakhand Public Library Act in the year 2005, Uttar Pradesh Public Library Act in the year 2006, Rajasthan Public Library Act in the year 2006, Lakshadweep Public Library Act in the year 2007, Bihar Public Library Act in the year 2008, Chhattisgarh Public Library Act in the year 2008-2009, and the last one is Arunachal Pradesh Public Library Act in the year 2009. Thank you for watching this video.